Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to talk about the function of an ADHD brain when it comes to fishing and my experiences with this. Stick around, and we'll get into it. Okay, so one of the things that I had struggled with early on when I started fishing was lure choice. Um, I'd walk into a Bass Pro Shop, a Walmart, a Dick's Sporting Goods, a Shields. You name the sporting goods store, you walk in, you see all these lures and aisles and aisles and aisles of different lures. And you're sitting there, what do I get? What works? Well, the easy answer is all of them. They will all work in some fashion or another. The difficult answer is what's going to be best for you when starting out. What I started out with and what I'm going to start out with making is right here. They are 5-inch stick baits. 5-inch works well because you can take it and pinch it down, make it work for finesse once you get into doing that. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's actually the first thing I recommend when somebody asks me, hey, what should I start out with fishing? A package of hooks, an open face spinning reel, or a push button rod, anywhere from 8 to 12 pound line, whether that be your mono, your braid, or your fluorocarbon, and a package of hooks, or a package of stick baits. A lot of stick baits will come 6 to 8 to a pack, just depending on the brand and where you're buying them. Some will come as a 3-pack, and that's a sample pack. One of the things that I really like about stick baits is you can Texas rig them. You can use them on a Carolina rig. You can use them in a finesse setup. You can wacky rig them. You can do all sorts of different setups with one lure. It lessens the amount of choices that you have to make. If you go with a black and blue, a green pumpkin, and a white, you've covered your spectrum from dark water or stained water to clear water. If something comes up where I'm going fishing tomorrow and you have a package of hooks and a stick bait, you're probably going to have a pretty decent day. One of the other things that can happen is you walk into a store and you see 87 different colors of stick baits with 87 different brands and 87 different softness material. Well, your brain can just either, I have to get them all, or completely shut down and this is not a good idea for you, don't do this. If that were to happen, walk away. Don't leave, but walk away. Let your brain calm down. Go look at something else. Go look at the fishing rod that you want to get. Compare the prices. You don't have to spend $200 your first time out. a $10 rod and reel from Walmart, a package of worms, and some hooks. That's all you really need. You might throw in, if the rod and reel doesn't come pre-spooled, throw in a spool of line. They have it there in Walmart for the monofilament, which does float if that's an issue. Braid will absorb water and not float, but it doesn't stretch. Monofilament will stretch and it will float. And then you have fluorocarbon that's a middle ground. It doesn't float, but it has a bit of give. If you go with a 8-pound monofilament and wacky rig or Texas rig your stick bait, there's not going to be a problem with catching a fish. Once you have figured out the colors that work around you, you'll be good. Something else that I struggled with a lot when I first started out was I would overthink a fishing area. I'd go in and, okay, the spot that I like to fish, it's got a log jam over here and an outlet here and open water over there. So I have to use 5 different lures in this area. One stick bait. That's all you really need. If you put on a stick bait with a worm hook, doesn't have to be a wide gap worm hook. You can Texas rig that, and you can wacky rig it, and you'll be good. For the log jam, just flip it in there. You might get hung up, you might lose a few hooks, but that one stick bait will fish all of that area. And you don't have to overthink the fishing either. Start out facing down one side of the bank. Cast that area 3, 4, 5 times. Different sections of that bank. Start out close to you and cast down that bank. Then make a 45-degree turn and cast 3, 4, 5 times there. Then go straight out from you. 3, 4, 5 times there. Then 45 in the other direction. Again, starting close. 3, 4, 5 times. And then back down the other side of the bank. And sometimes, if you're in a little pocket where the bank starts to turn and go another way, you don't have to worry about casting down that other side of the bank. Or making all those turns. Down one bank, a 45, and down the other bank. And those pockets usually will hold fish during the spawn. And again, you don't have to overthink the casting. You don't have to overthink the materials that you take with you. A small tackle box with a couple of bags of stick baits, and you'll be fine. If you're not wanting to do stick bait fishing and you're wanting to do something else, the other lure that I would recommend is a jig. Jigs are a way of fishing for those with ADHD, because even though you can't see the action on this all the time, you can feel the action depending on what type of rod and reel setup you have. And with not with this style because this is a football head, but with the ball head, they can be used to swim. I'll show you one of those real quick. It's one of the two that I offer right now. Eventually we will be getting a swim jig in, but this can be hopped, it can be swim, it can be vertically jigged, it can be crawled across the bottom like a football head jig. And I would recommend the 3/8 ounce for those that have ADHD because it's this medium ground between your 1/4 ounce and your 1/2 ounce. It has a decent fall rate and it has it's heavy enough that you can feel the bottom of the pond or lake that you're fishing. You can feel the structure down there. If it's hard bottom, that's when I would switch over to a cross style jig or a football head jig and pop it along the bottom. You don't have to overthink it. Those 2 lures, 3 if you add in the stick baits, those 3 things, and you can go fish a multitude of areas. You can fish your silted end ponds. If you live in a urban area that's got a pond in a park, you can fish those. If you're fishing a natural lake, you can fish deep or shallow with them. You can fish open water. There's not much you can't do with those 3 lures. One of the other things that I will always have with me is these will be tied up later. These are not tied right now. And you can tell that because there's a rubber band on there. Rubber bands are bad. They break, they get brittle, they're no good. If you buy stuff that's got rubber bands on it, when it breaks, this is what you're left with. And you're going to end up having to either replace the skirt material or get rid of the jig. I'll replace the skirt material on mine, just like the buzz baits. You don't have to have a skirt on them. Take that skirt off. It's perfectly fine to not have a skirt on your buzz bait. One of the things you will want to do if you do that is throw a trailer on it. Guys, you don't have to overthink it. It's really simple to get into fishing, and it can be fun for kids from age 3 all the way up to 103. If you want any of the baits that I showed you in the video today, other than the stick baits, those will be coming. But if you want anything that I've talked about today or have questions, feel free to message me on here or go to the link in the description if you want any of these. It'll take you to the Etsy store for Fat Boy Jigs, Not So Boring Baits. And remember, guys, try not to be boring.